Good morning, Hallowed Haven family. This is After Dawn, the show where we sit down to have a cup of coffee with the cast, crew, and creators behind the Hallowed Haven Studios productions. I'm Sol, and I'm joined by my co-host, Cyan.
Yes, hello, I'm Cyan, and today we're talking about Chill, The Office, Episode 6, Paperwork. I guess if you want to have an overbearing HR rep and bosses that are trapped in their offices, it's a great episode, honestly, but my opinion is not the only one here. What are your thoughts, Saul?
I enjoyed it. I liked the fact that we got to see Karen more, because while every single time her voice comes across the screen, I shiver. I also enjoyed seeing a more active and not overtly cruel or evil Big Bad. And I also liked seeing a bit of what she was able to do. But also, my opinions are not the only ones that matter here. We are joined by our wonderful player Termite and our friendly, in quotation marks, SPC Bloodied Porcelain. Hello!
Hello!
Well, welcome back to the show, Termite, and for, the first time for this season, Porcelain. Termite has been here before, but Porcelain has been here for the previous season. But for everyone who's brand new, who decided to tune in for the first time, we start the show by percolating a little bit with questions to our lovely guests about themselves and a little bit about what they're thinking with their characters. Drink our cups with actual the events of the show, a little bit more about what's going on in the character's head, like at that time, and then we open it up to spilling the tea with questions from the chat, the fans, other players, as well as opening the floor for myself and Cyan to take questions from our lovely guests. We'll start percolating with a question to Porcelain. What's it like being asked to play the HR leader from hell?
I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I don't often get to... I mean, I get to play bad guys when I'm storytelling. But I don't often get to get into a character where they're so aggressively nice and over the top saccharine sweet that it drives people crazy, and people hate them simply on principle. So that's been really fun.
I can imagine. It seems like everyone in the SPC group has been enjoying themselves so much so far, even though Lane only got to do a little bit because, well, we saw what happened to Darius in the last episode.
Indeed.
Yeah. I actually have another question for Termite. Did you always plan to make Amy such a pyromaniac? Fire keeps coming up, and you even started this session by asking for a lighter just immediately out of the gate.
So to be fair, this session I kind of had all the things laid out in front of me, but that was nowhere in the initial plans for anything. It just kind of happened. It started as a joke, and then by episode 5, it was no longer a joke.
Isn't that generally how things go? Everyone just says something as a joke, and then it manifests as an actual event.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a joke. Suddenly the office is on fire.
Or at least part of the office. Some paperwork, at least.
Yeah, I'm sure that has no bearing the rest of the plot.
No,
not at all.
Never.
When would my actions ever have consequences?
That's a good question. Another good question is BP. What are like the experiences you draw on for playing Karen?
Oh goodness. I think that every office environment has a Karen, even if she's not necessarily always evil. She's the over-the-top, aggressively nice, never misses somebody's birthday. The office is always decorated for every holiday, and it just wears on you if you have even a shred of just exhaustion with the world, because you're like, how can anybody be that happy all the fucking time? That like this person's not natural. So that's kind of where I I just went back to every Karen who's ever been in any office I've ever worked in, and was just like, yeah, I'm gonna base this Karen off of them. And it just so happens that I also got some cool powers
that totally don't, come into play to help torture the envoy and various other members of the office staff.
Not at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, Termite, how did it feel to play a session without the most combat ready and effective party healer around?
It was wildly concerning because I was very worried we were all going to get shot. Because between this group as a whole, there is one person with a level head. He wasn't here today, and also is possessed, but that's fine, and we don't need to worry about that. Nothing bad could possibly happen. So it was rough. I'm glad things didn't go worse than they did, but things still went real bad.
What do you mean? I think everything went great.
I was hoping to not have to throw a chair at the HR person yet.
Yet.
Hey, listen, there's always time later. But also, leveling a gun at one of our bosses, pretty bold decision. It's fine. Well, there were a lot of decisions made that probably wouldn't have been made if Alfred was there, and that's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Of course. Yeah,
While
totally.
everything around you is on fire. Absolutely, everything is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So, aside from the experiences that you drew on when it came to actually playing Karen, did you have much of a say when it came to actually designing or making her? Or was it just sort of like, here's what I'm thinking, and you're just told to run with it? BP.
I was given a name. I was told that he needed somebody to play Karen from HR. I said, okay, I already know who the character is. What else? And he said, do you want to be human or do you want to be more than human? And I was like, well, obviously I want to be more than human. And so that's what happened. The rest of it was kind of on me. I came up with most of her, I basically came up with her whole personality on my own. I just sort of showed up and did my thing on the first episode. And Scott was like, oh my God, that was amazing. More of this, please. And I was like, okay, I can do that.
Fair enough. He might be the only person that ever asked for more Karen.
I don't know about that. Legacy has been cheering me on in the background too, so.
Oh, that's fair, yeah. Gee, I can't imagine why that would be.
I couldn't tell you. There's definitely no overlap at all between the intern and Karen.
No, not at all.
Other than making the envoy collectively shit their pants. I actually have a question for both of you. This is more just a question that sort of came to me when I was listening the other night. What is your favorite movie or TV show based on a workplace? Since we had the Office themed movie night before, I was wondering if maybe you guys had thoughts on that kind of media.
Oh goodness. Go ahead.
I don't care for them, just in general. Especially when it comes to TV shows. Most shows like that are sitcoms, and I absolutely loathe sitcoms. And I don't really watch movies, so I can't really pick a favorite because I'm not really aware of any, and I don't really enjoy the ones that I'm aware of.
I would say that mine's tie between Clerks and Waiting. Just because I've worked both of those really shitty dead-end jobs, in the point where a lot of the comedy, at the time where a lot of that comedy was very relevant, and still very much the reality for people working in those shitty dead-end jobs. So, yeah, no, I have a deep and abiding love of those two movies. I don't watch them often because comedy in general is not super my thing, but if I had to pick something, it would be one of those two.
Understandable. My personal favorite is Office Spaces, but that's just because I love how completely balls to the wall it gets at the end.
I love the scene where they're beating a printer to death.
Yeah, that's very cathartic for me. I have to deal with a printer like that every single day.
That's literally my job. So, go ahead, go off.
The line, "I wasn't even supposed to be here today," will forever live with me. It is ingrained in my soul.
Yeah. For me, it's I wasn't supposed. For me, it's the examples I wasn't supposed to be here yet because I keep getting called in like an hour or 3 early.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, when they need you, they need you. But I do have a question for both of you. What's been the worst way in any place you've worked, or really anything you've been involved in, that have tried to help with morale and kind of like your workspace, The given example is, flannel or fedora Fridays.
I haven't worked anywhere with weird, like, themed days. What I hate most are the, like, mandatory quote unquote parties, which used to happen a lot at one of my old jobs.
Oh yeah, mandatory fun time. That's yeah. Oh geez,
yeah, you will have fun.
You will have fun.
It very much falls in line with that. The beatings will continue until morale improves, kind of like mentality. And I'm like, y'all, I just want a paycheck. Can I just come in and like work? No. Do I have to go to this stupid party that's outside in 90-degree weather, where the drinks are going to be lukewarm because it's too fucking hot for you to keep ice like cold?
I've had at least one job where the biggest thing that got on my nerves was my manager constantly trying to do something to improve morale. When it's a job that it kind of sucks, and
you trade your sweat and blood for a pizza party. Yeah,
pretty much. Nobody actually wanted to be there. But I'll be damned if she didn't fucking try to make people feel better and fail horrifically in a number of ways.
Yeah, I definitely get that. My manager is constantly just like, hey, you should come. We should all have one-on-one sit-downs. I'm like, oh, great. Just what I want to do. And another hour of having to be at work.
Yeah. Or party bowling night. That's also very fun.
Oh, yes. My favorite sport.
Bowling. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they can't take everybody out golfing. It's too expensive.
Also, that's golfing sucks.
When I worked on the base here, we every year, at least a couple times a year, they would do like mandatory like branch events, and the events would always be outside. It would always be when it was obnoxiously hot. And there would be like 3-legged races and things like that. And I'm like, what are we, 5? Like, why?
They think you're stuck in the 1950s.
I am old and not terribly coordinated anymore, and I will just fall on my face. So I'm gonna sit here in what little shred of shade I can find with a lukewarm Coke, and I'm going to watch everybody else be morons. And I'm going to rue the day that I ever got this job. That's me at anything that is supposed to be there to build morale. I'm not the morale person. I want to come in, I want to put on my headphones, I want to listen to my music, I want to do my job, and I want to go home.
Mandatory fun.
Yeah, if I'm going to have fun, it's going to be my choice.
No, not according to your job.
The beatings will continue until morale improves, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I have another question for the both of you. What's been the worst way any place you've worked, or anything you've been involved in and have tried to help with morale?
That was the same question against Cyan.
Oh, was it? Oh, man.
Yep.
Yes.
Go down a little bit.
Just kidding. Porcelain. It's something we've asked all of our guests these past few weeks. Like, what's your favorite part of these games? The puzzles, the combat, the roleplay? Like,
roleplay for me generally is where I'm always gonna lean. It's always my favorite part. I like getting into a character's headspace, and I like getting to kind of pick apart what makes them tick. That said, at least here on HHS, I'm usually the storyteller. So it's fun getting to be the SPC because I can like target specific players and specific PCs, and kind of give the storyteller ammunition to work with and ideas, but I'm not responsible for any of it after the session's over, which makes me really happy. Like, I can go in, I can mess up Frankie's world, and then I'm not, like, involved for a week.
So you're like peak grandma, like treating the kids. It's just like, okay, I've loaded them up with sugar and got them running around all day. Now I'm just going to pass them back to the parents. Have fun.
Effectively, yeah. Although Scott seemed to appreciate it because I was giving him feedback on things that my SPC would be doing behind the scenes. Like when I wasn't on camera, I was just like, okay, here's my list of things that I'm doing. Here you go. And he was just like, oh, these are great. I was like,
oh
okay.
Boy, Karen's up to shenanigans again.
What, did you think that we were off camera? We just became like static and we didn't do anything? No, of course not.
Oh no, I always figure that something shifty is going around.
Everybody turns into just a mannequin.
Yeah.
of course.
It's like a weeping angel, but backwards.
I had a lot of that input on Apotheosis with like Heretic and Termite both gave me like notes between sessions of stuff that their SPCs were going to do. And I was like, this is great. I'm doing this for Scott.
And adding in more emotional damage.
Always.
I wouldn't say more emotional damage.
Maybe not with you in Apotheosis. Heretic definitely gave me just like mountains of the emotional damage inflicting stuff. So, and Karen might be a little bit geared towards causing emotional damage. So,
I mean, as an HR rep, I wouldn't expect anything less, honestly.
Yeah, that's like her whole job, isn't it?
Yeah. Was she actually supposed to handle these problems? Nah.
I feel like I'm one of the few people who's mostly worked in offices where HR actually wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't always useful, but they weren't actively bad most of the places I worked.
Yeah, that's just because you never had to use them, maybe.
Oh, hopefully. No, I did. Oh. It just was not really an issue, generally. The things that needed to get fixed got fixed. It not always in the way that I wanted, but usually in a way that was at least mildly satisfactory.
That's very fair. Yeah.
Alrighty, I think that we have gone ahead and percolated a little bit, so time to get into the cups. Let's start off with another question for Porcelain. Was Karen actually trying to split up the envoy in the way that she did, or was it just a happy coincidence that she got to just grab Frankie and be alone with her for a little while?
Oh no, that was definitely on purpose. I decided that at least one person was getting targeted that session, and Frankie was causing the most chaos, so naturally Frankie was it. It just so happens that Frankie provided me the perfect opportunity to do it, where I didn't really have to try very hard.
Yeah, we can always rely on Frankie to cause a bit of a ruckus.
Honestly, Frankie as our scapegoat probably saved our ass a little bit. Because there are some things that I don't think Amy has explained to her yet.
Oh, baby, you don't think Amy is, like, free?
Oh, she's not free yet.
It's like you don't think Amy is going to get away from this without being met in such ways, do you? Because I don't think she will.
No, absolutely not.
The suspense will be killing us all.
Honestly? Yeah.
Well, tune in this Friday.
Okay.
Oh, we will. Speaking of Amy, Amy finally got to start a fire in the office. Hooray!
No question, just it's done.
Well, no, there is a question. It seemed like it was meant as a distraction, but was Amy possibly hoping it would catch more of the office on fire just to finally just burn the entire place down?
She has no hopes of actually burning the building down, because it's not a building, it's a whole-ass mountain. So the entire purpose of it was to just cause a distraction. And also because she was very upset about the whole situation and needed to do something that didn't involve getting herself hurt.
Something had to burn.
Exactly. Something had to burn. Something had to blow up. Something had to happen.
Seeing deep into the dark psyche of Amy this episode.
Oh, let me tell you.
Good for her, honestly. But with that, we're going to go to somewhere a little more, negative. Hey, Porcelain?
Yes.
Fun question. How much power does Karen actually have over the, office members, office, background, anything office related?
I can't answer that.
That's the best answer we could have gotten from that.
Honestly, yeah, it is.
If I had to take a wild guess, it's probably more than anybody actually thinks. Like, by a significant margin.
I can neither confirm nor deny any of your suspicions.
Yeah, my suspicion is that Karen is actually just regular God, and we can do nothing to defy her.
No comment.
Of course not. That's exactly what Karen would say.
Yeah, no kidding. I just assume she's a character from What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Termite.
Yeah.
So, oh man. What did Amy feel when she, actually got to finally use offensive abilities against Karen?
Amy has some feelings about Karen. And finally
Elaborate on that. Hold on. Wait.
I don't know if I should elaborate on it here. Karen's not out of the picture. We might get to see that in the show.
Very fair. Carry on.
Long story short, Amy doesn't like her at all.
No.
The best part of all of this for me is that Termite doesn't like Karen either. Like, I get messages from Termite during the show that are basically like, BP, I love you so much, but I fucking hate Karen.
Fucking worse.
BP,
I'm
I
like, then
adore
I
you,
am
but fuck
doing,
Karen.
I'm doing my job then.
I hate
Like,
her
that's the
so
point of it.
much.
I
Yeah,
hate Karen. All my homies hate Karen.
it's the visceral reaction whenever I hear Karen come on to the show. It's like your mom, but worse.
For
you
me,
know?
it's like hearing like a jump scare sting.
Yeah, to put things into
Yeah.
perspective,
Mom jump scare? Hello?
both of the times that Karen has interrupted Amy, it's taken everything I have for Amy to not just turn around and be like, "What the fuck do you want?"
Jesus.
I love the fact that I embody the character so well, because I know for a
No,
fact
yeah.
that Termite genuinely enjoys like hanging out with me outside of when I'm playing Karen.
Just hate her. She's awful.
There are going to be times after the show is over where I'm just going to turn that voice on just to watch Termite react.
Termite just screams, fuck!
This is method acting, okay? It's pure talent, honestly.
To answer your question, she's real happy that she finally got to fucking do it.
But is she disappointed that it didn't work?
No. She got what she wanted out of the situation. Which was Frankie out.
I will make a note.
That's not ominous at all.
What? I don't know what you're talking.
I don't know what you mean. What?
So I have. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just wildly concerned. What's happening?
I mean, as you should be. What? I mean,
We're just your friendly neighborhood talk show hosts.
yeah. What do you mean?
They definitely don't give any feedback to the storytellers involved. They definitely don't give us ideas at all. I swear.
You say that like I as a player haven't given Scott ideas.
I feel like Flannel Friday is entirely your fault, Termite.
It's not.
I'm pretty sure it's Ulrich's fault.
Yeah.
Ulrich just created a massive list of like blank Friday themes.
That whole list was from before I had any part in most of the things, aside from.
But just knowing like Termite as a person, I cannot discount her her involvement in Flannel Friday. And I refuse to, honestly.
Also, it totally makes sense that that's all Ulrich's fault.
It absolutely does make sense. He's our resident bad ideas goblin, so.
That's correct. I have another question for Porcelain. Were you eager to finally get to use Karen's powers on the Envoy? You went really hard and turned a lot of tokens from dark to light all at once.
I was really eager. I wasn't aware of how few tokens Scott had. Like, he didn't tell me. Otherwise, I might have held back a little bit. Or tried to, finesse some situations where the players had to flip some tokens. Before I did anything. I didn't know. But I was very excited to get to use them because I was in the first episode and then I wasn't in several episodes, and I just sat there with my sheet looking at it and going, but it's so pretty. But it's so pretty because I didn't build the sheet. Scott built the sheet, which is good because he knows the system better than I did, because I don't think I could have come up with something better than this.
Honestly, I think that's just the curse of playing an SPC.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, I know that Termite had very similar feelings about her SPC in Apotheosis, where she was like, but I just want to do the things. Look at all the cool things I can do. And I'm like, just wait for it. I'll give you the opportune moment, I promise.
But you're not here yet. Wait a minute.
Bruno Mars would like to have a word.
Yeah. But yeah, fair. That's fair enough on how quickly you're using the powers. Termite. Amy seemed to be kind of, well, for lack of a better term, turning a bit feral at this point in the story. Is she still trying to actually have a plan with anything, or is she just basically rolling on adrenaline, paranoia, and just rolling with the punches at this point?
So the issue at this point is that she has a fairly solid, she feels like at least, she has a fairly solid understanding of what's going on. And this past episode, especially with Becker, has pushed her past the point of, okay, we're done trying to reason with people, we're just fucking doing things. Let's go. Because otherwise, nothing's gonna get done. Which is, ironically, kind of the point she was at with the office as a whole, because fuck paperwork.
Amy doesn't want to actually save anyone, she just wants to get rid of the paperwork.
You know, that's kind of fair. Yeah.
That's a different issue. There's a reason she always carries a laptop around with her.
As long as the printer isn't filled with garden dirt, you know?
Or
a poltergeist trying to copy its ass. I'm pretty sure that's what the poltergeist was doing.
Oh, that's absolutely what the poltergeist was doing.
That's why those pictures came out. But it's the poltergeist, so it doesn't... They were all blank.
The poltergeist isn't actually trying to hurt anyone, he's just kind of a dick.
Wait, hold on. We have a... Hold on. Watch your profanity. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, the copier joke, it's got me. I'm dead, honestly. But also, BP. I can't. With that, I can't. Oh my gosh. BP.
Yes?
So, I'm really curious. How many more tricks does Karen have left on her sheet, and can we know that she used her first and third?
Like, we know that she actually used them, but what exactly were they aside from just causing mischief and horror?
But those were that's fine too, you know.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how many she has on her sheet because that seems spoilery.
Well, we know she has at least 3.
Just tell us what we need to know, you know?
That seems like something you should listen to the show to figure out how much more she has up her sleeve. As far as can you know what the first and third do? Sure, I guess. You're going to need to give me a second because I didn't have her sheet open. I didn't think I'd have to answer this sort of question.
Well, you have to expect the unexpected when you come onto this. Come on.
Apparently.
Yeah, we're demanding literally everything and nothing from you. How dare you?
You mean to tell me I have to answer questions on this show?
Yeah, kind of,
I was prepared
to
answer questions, just not this particular question.
That is unacceptable, but, you know, have a great day.
Okay, I had to find the link.
Okay.
Her first was it's a power just called Confess, which is that if you win, the target makes a horror resolve roll and confesses all relevant details about a sin they have committed. And there is a note that if I talk about a specific sin or whatever, they have to talk about that sin in particular. And the third one is called Exploit, which is that I get to read all of their emotions and thoughts if they lose. And they're at a -30 penalty to try to deceive or surprise me.
Okay. That is an amazing power for an HR rep, but terrifying for, everyone else.
Yeah, good for an HR rep or maybe a priest.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thought crime is now a thing in this office. I hope you're prepared.
Great.
I mean, kind of knowing that, Termite, how is Amy gonna, react to everything that's been going on? Is she gonna come back?
Or is she just gonna give here's my resignation letter?
This is my Negative 2 weeks notice.
I mean, Amy doesn't know that Karen can do that. Amy just knows that she hates Karen.
Well, yes, but I mean, with that on top of all the horrible shit that she's had to deal with today.
And seen, yeah.
I mean, she hasn't seen anything beyond what she's seen before. But she is going to contact higher ups in the Save organization to just blow up this mountain if she can, because obviously there's something fucking wrong with this office that nobody's noticed all of this shit going on for years at this point.
All right.
But I don't think she'd be able to leave the organization as a whole. I don't think she would let herself.
I just want to point out that I find it hilarious that this is the second time in an HHS show where that has been the course of action that somebody has taken, is to call somebody with explosives and have them just blow up the problem.
Or, the city.
Yeah, well, the city was a problem, unfortunately. In our Chicago show, at Chicago Reborn, we had a sister show that was a mini series of Hunter. And the hunters were fine picking off random vampires, and then the vampires started targeting the hunters' homes and families, and we were just like, nah, fuck all of this. And we called in the Second Inquisition and gave them the list of high value targets that we had found.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, what's the best way to deal with an infestation?
Burn it with fire.
Yep.
Tactical nuke. Wait.
We're just trying to blow up one mountain.
Vincent's still a little bit sore about that. Anyway. I think that we have enjoyed our cups a little bit. I think it's time to spill the tea. This section is a bit more freeform, with questions tailored toward the what the fuck moments of the episode, so maybe some controversies, rumors, hints of love interests, that kind of thing. In this section, we will also invite our guests to ask each other any pressing hard questions they might have for one another, or to ask questions of us as the interviewers. We're going to start with a question for Amy this time. Does Amy consider anyone in the office to be a lost cause and was just okay with leaving them behind or taking them out as necessary?
I feel like this question is very targeted. So from Amy's notes that I took for the last session, she is listed at 2 people as lost causes for sure. The 2 remaining Johns. And listed Becker as a potential lost cause. So depending on how things go, yeah, kind of. There are at least a few people that she's like, okay, well, these people are either incompetent or I'm 80% sure they're evil, so let them fucking die. If it needs to be done to save the rest of the fucking world from being invaded by extra-dimensional parasites.
Yikes. Fair, but yikes.
Amy's gone through some shit.
Maybe a little.
The pragmatism has blossomed.
I think she's creating a toxic work environment.
Can't create a toxic work environment if the work environment's already toxic.
Yeah, I think this work environment is radioactive.
I don't even think iodine would solve this problem.
Plot twist, this mountain's actually just a nuclear reactor.
Are we at the point where we get to ask each other questions?
You are, absolutely.
I would like to ask Termite a question.
Yeah?
What do you think Karen is?
In terms of like what kind of creature she is.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I've pretty confidently ruled out the fact that she's one of the extra dimensional beings. But beyond that, I think there are too many possibilities to really narrow it down much. I think. Let's see, so far she's exhibited telepathy. She might. First thought is, wait, maybe she's a fucking literal demon. Or whatever the closest adjacent evil way creature is in Chill.
Interesting.
That kind of does give a really good segue to my next question. What does Karen's family look like?
Oh, that I can't answer. I think that'll give away way too much.
Ooh.
Okay, what does Karen's immediate family look like?
Or that's still too much?
Because I don't know. To me, Karen gives off like big mom vibes, but in like the tiger mom kind of way, you know?
That's fair. I don't. So, immediate family, I would say Karen. Definitely has kids. I don't think her husband is in the picture anymore. At least not where she's concerned. Like they don't interact anymore.
Okay.
And she's got kids, but they're like out of the house now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but another question for you, BP. Would Karen kind of see everyone who works in the office as kind of like her kids?
No, I think Karen just takes a lot of pride in her job.
Okay, yeah.
That actually segues fairly well into a question I have.
Oh my god, okay.
What? I'm sorry, we're just bombarding you with questions.
Bombardment.
It's the first time we've gotten to have you here.
It is, yeah.
How does Karen feel about the envoys? Like, what are her opinions on them?
Until this most recent session, I think she was just happy that they were doing their jobs and doing them well, though she wished that they were better about their paperwork. Because she's the one who usually has to deal with that when it's not done the way it's supposed to be done. With write-ups and everything going through HR, that's just more work for her when people screw up. That being said, I think after this last session, she's probably a little miffed. As mad as somebody with the eternally sunshiny disposition that she has can be. She's definitely upset that y'all tried to, like, make Becker hate her.
Even though we had a perfectly valid reason.
I mean, that's what you say.
Hey, valid to you, maybe.
Yeah. I'll have you know, Becker is a good corporate employee. But
That's
carrying
kind of the
on. Shush. Many cogs are required to make a clock turn.
Oh, Lord.
Clock has been running backwards for 3 years.
It's somehow running
As
sideways?
far as you know.
I mean, the thing is that Karen hasn't actually hurt anybody. Like, this most recent session was, like, the only time in, like, the work history where she's done anything even remotely sideways not okay. She's just really aggressively nice to people, and they hate her for that. So,
I mean, it probably comes from, like, the, hey, you could never trust HR kind of thing, you know?
probably.
But are they really wrong? The silence is deafening.
I actually, I'm sorry, BP, but I have a question for Karen. What does Karen do when she leaves the office? Like, what kind of hobbies does someone like that have? Or does she just plan the next day's bureaucratic horror?
I think Karen is one of those like what do you call them? Like organizing moms, where she like browses Pinterest for like the perfect aesthetically perfectly organized like pantry setup. Like that's Karen's like downtime.
She seems to me like she'd be big on couponing.
Yeah, probably. I could definitely see couponing being a thing. Maybe not as obsessively as some people do, but I could see her like, getting out the ad paper once a week and clipping out coupons. But I think her big thing is things like, like I said, like finding those perfect, like clear plastic containers on Amazon and ordering those and like the chalk labels so that she can organize her pantry and have everything be picture perfect. She's just as organized at home as she is in her like color-coded binders and folders. So
her kids have to give her Mother's Day cards in triplicate.
Precisely. I'm happy to see that you are learning.
I was joking.
Now they would too, because I don't know about you guys, but Karen seems like the kind of like detail-oriented person. She'd be a great mom.
For sure. You have to do the cards in triplicate because you have like one that's for display because the display ones always get messed up eventually.
Right.
You have one that you keep in a keepsake box, so that your kids can find it when you're like, dead and gone. And then you have one that's like just for like you to like pull out and look at on a day-to-day. When you need like a little dose of happy. Or is on her desk at work with a million other cards from people.
That is amazingly and unexpectedly very cute.
Yeah, kind of, actually.
I told you, aggressively nice.
That's also a really good question for Termite. What does your character kind of like do to pass the time outside of work?
Oh, and possibly screaming into the night.
And burning things.
Oh no.
No, the pyromania is a recent development.
And centered on work.
I don't believe you.
I do.
Out of character, the pyromania isn't a recent development. In character, it is. Honestly, it's mostly screaming into the void. Trying, especially these past couple of weeks, seeing if she can get any information on what she's dealing with, because it's just been thing after thing popping up, and she's not exactly the most occult-focused person. So she's probably been doing research on like potential things once this office started showing obvious signs of things being very, very wrong here.
So wait. You're telling me that after work, she goes to the library?
Yeah, pretty much. Goes to the library to do work.
I
did not expect Amy to be the workaholic.
Yeah, me neither. Like, she threatens to commit felonies against the office building she's in, but, not her people. But at the same time, it's weirdly fitting. Weirdly.
Yeah,
but it does fit.
She has issues with the office. She doesn't have issues with the job she does.
Well, I'm gonna hope that Save sees it that way.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be like some sort of big conniption.
I hope not. Going to the library after work, that's probably the most productive thing you can do as a corporate slave.
Yeah, at least she doesn't go home to her fucking living room bar.
I'm going to be honest with you. Living room bar is one of the best sounding things that's come out of this show so far. I was like, that's a great fucking idea.
Sponsors are so fucking funny.
Gary cracks me up. Out of the 3 SPCs, Termite, who has been your like favorite, not necessarily in a I love this character's like personality, but just how they're portrayed?
I mean, especially when it comes to how they're portrayed, Karen, Becker. There's something about him that just rubs me the wrong way, and I don't quite know what it is. But there's just something about the guy.
I love that Becker is perpetually the guy who knows a guy. Like for every situation, he has a family member who could be the answer.
And that's
it's
kind
like
of
a
the
weird
problem.
fucking quirk, but it's so cool.
And we just haven't really seen enough of the intern. Which I think is my one big complaint. We need more intern.
We'll have to tell Legacy and Scott.
I think we'll mostly have to tell Scott.
You haven't seen much of the intern, but the intern's probably seen a lot of you, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's fine. Those notes are getting burned.
If you can remember that they exist.
Fair.
There's a reason that Amy has started keeping her own notes.
Amy's just gone full Memento on everyone.
Yeah, every black mark on her arm was every time she's seen the intern.
I actually have another question for Amy. Termite, has Amy ever considered that she just straight up might be wrong about everything that's going on in the office?
No.
That's what I thought, but figured I'd ask.
See, here's the thing. She's seen pretty incontrovertible proof that something is wrong here. And considering the fact that Save is supposed to be dedicated to destroying the unknown, and that in general this office is just kind of weird in a whole bunch of ways. No, she's pretty confident that she's right, that the things going on here need to be stopped.
I mean, that kind of brings up another question. Just from the last couple of episodes, is Save really concerned with destroying the unknown or just containing it?
So,
Yeah, because they have a containment unit. They don't really seem to have too big of a morgue.
well, so that's where you get into the thing of, one, unknown creatures aren't singular entities. Which is why there's the containment to, study them and learn about them. But in general, I mean, even just containment is better than letting them. I'm building ideas. But in general, containment is better than just letting them roam free. Go write something down real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
From what I have seen of this show, Save seems less about destroying the unknown and more like a Men in Black kind of scenario to me.
I was thinking SCP.
Oh yeah, me too. 100%.
I admittedly know nothing about SCP except that my spawn is really into it.
I'll send you a couple videos, BP. It's okay.
No, thank you. I've seen
No,
enough to know
you'll
that I'm not interested.
I'm not gonna not send them though. So,
but like it very much strikes me a little bit like the Men in Black because they have unknown working there. So maybe the envoys are just paranoid.
Maybe.
And
That is.
short-sighted.
Ooh, called out.
We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, wait,
But-
no. Just because Amy's literally short-sighted. What the fuck?
No, I mean,
That's not what I meant.
when Legacy was on it and they were talking about like their intern character, kind of the thing they said was, hey, maybe it's not that the intern is the unknown, but the PCs are also unknown and they just also work there but don't realize that they're unknown.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Because the PCs do have weird magic stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of weird, like esoteric abilities.
And I don't think that's necessarily negative to humanity.
Nope. I mean, Karen makes people cookies for their birthdays.
He also
Even
makes people
like her
viscerally uncomfortable.
It's just because she's
Yeah.
really nice. I can't help the fact that you guys hate somebody for being nice. But she's never objectively, until this past session, done anything even remotely bad to anybody. She's just insufferable.
But in this last session, was she insufferable or just doing her job?
I think she was just doing her job. But I also understand that people might disagree with that. That is...
No, she was just doing her job, and her job is insufferable.
I love everything about this show.
I've actually got a lot of feedback from my friends that watch the show. They're just like, man, we love the show, but goddamn, Karen.
No.
Then tell them that I appreciate the compliment.
Karen is like Karen is the SPC we love to hate, but honestly, she's probably not the big bad because you love to hate her.
There's plenty worse going on, at least.
Oh yeah, there's at least 3 things I can count right now that are way worse.
At least she didn't throw microwave shrimp at people.
Oh geez.
Yeah, but that
Oh,
guy's
no.
dead
Oh,
now.
no.
That guy got what was coming to him.
Hey, termite question.
What's up?
How do you feel about microwaved pocket shrimp?
Oh, bad. I feel bad.
How do you feel that your buddy ate some?
It's not the worst thing he has inside of his body right now. So,
All right, that's
more upset that he picked up that phone than the fact that he ate those shrimp.
all right. That's yeah, okay.
Those were all choice ways of saying that.
Yeah, imagine saying, no, I did not like that, but in so many different words.
All right, does anyone else have any other questions for anyone here?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Cyan, you got anything else?
I have so many questions, but I know BP can't answer them, so I won't ask.
Unfortunate.
I appreciate that. Thank you for not making me say, no, I'm not going to answer that 5 times in one show.
Well, you had to ask him at least
Let-
1 or 2 questions like that.
Like
just
I could.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, you did that to me last season, too, where you were like, is there anything going on behind the scenes with the bad guys? And I was just like, oh.
Oh, of course not.
I'm
No,
not
but
gonna
just
behind
find
the
out.
scenes.
If I didn't show you, it's because you weren't supposed to see it.
Dang.
Well, in that case, we'll go ahead and call it there. Thank you both for being here and talking to us this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Again.
Anytime. Like I said,
Patrons can never
anytime.
get rid of me.
Never. And thank you all for listening. These episodes are dropped Thursdays at noon for the $5 plus tier on the Patreon. They're released to the public 1 month later, so think about subscribing so that way you can keep up to date with your talk news for Hallowed Haven Studios. Farewell, everyone.
Bye.